All right, you guys know I've been pounding the table on small caps. Late last year, I couldn't get anyone to, take the bait. Of course, this year they're killing it. But if you really want to see super duper performance, check this out. These are micro cap stocks. So the IWC index, look at this bad boy. This has been just an absolute juggernaut. And if you want to really put it in perspective, this is micro caps versus the S&P. This is how much they're outperforming the S&P 500. It's not even close. I'm going to bring in out MicroCapClub, their founder, Ian Cassel. And Ian, it's great to meet you. Listen, I know you're doing a partnership with Planet MicroCap. Those are my great friends, Bobby and his family. They sing your praises. You've got a lot of fans for years. I've watched your work for years. So welcome to the show. Let's do this. First, let's explain to the audience what are microcap stocks?
Sure, and thanks for having me on. A microcap stock is a public company that trades at a market capitalization less than 500 million market cap, and that makes up a majority of public companies that exist globally. It's around 50% of all global stocks are these small microcap companies that are just really, really small businesses. They're businesses that might not even be the largest business in a small town. And yet they have a ticker symbol that you can buy in your Schwab or Robinhood account, just like you can Tesla or Apple.
Why are they doing so well right now? What's the theory there?
Well, unfortunately, there's really not a good benchmark to use for microcap investing. All we really have is the iShares ETF that we have that tracks around 1,400 microcap companies. And unfortunately, in that index, it's market cap weighted, the top 10%, just like the S&P bulldozed that index around, or that ETF around. And a lot of those companies in that index are unprofitable companies, about 70%. And so, I think the IWC as an index, it normally does really, really well. It normally outperforms the S&P, normally towards the tail end of a bull market, which is sort of unfortunate, but that's just the reality of what history has shown from that index in particular. The good news is that there's plenty of real, growing, profitable microcaps that aren't even part of that index that are still doing well. And that's really where the opportunity is for, skilled, astute, retail and institutional investors that want participation in the space.
Right. It sounds like you're saying it's just like, with the Russell, right, where 40% of them are unprofitable as well. But if you find the names that are doing extraordinarily well, you can do very well. So, as far as this being a red flag for the entire rally coming to an end, you say we don't have to, that's not necessarily true.
It's not necessarily true. I looked back actually before I got on here, and there's been 2 or 3 occasions, I think in the last 20 years, where it seemed like the IWC outperformed the S&P about 12 to 24 months kind of before the end of that bull run. So, it just is a sign of caution, I think, with that index in particular.
Let's talk about some examples of microcap grand slams. Idaho Strategic is a name I like. I've got subscribers in it. In fact, we actually liked it today, and we already had a position in it. You can see down here, this stock, this is like a $5 stock. Now it's $44. It's, this is your specialty. How do you zoom in and identify these before they make these gargantuan runs?
Well, it's a good question, and Idaho Strategic, IDR, is a company that, just in full disclosure, I've owned since 2013. My fund that I manage owns it since inception, and this is really it's a $44 stock today, but you go back a decade and this was trading for $1 per share. It was profiled on MicroCapClub at $1.25 per share. Everyone ignored it. The CEO, kind of John Swallow, also the company's largest shareholder, he ended up being able to have the foresight to acquire some gold properties at the cycle lows, and also, stake some claims on some rare earth element properties in 2020 when we were all locked down due to, COVID. And so, he had the foresight, and now he has the assets that everyone wants. That is why the stock has been outperforming over the last several years.
So, what you said right there is really interesting, because I think on Wall Street, the folks who don't watch this or who sort of put it down, and particularly the dumb retail investor, that there's just a place to go and make quick, fast money when things are hot. But you're talking about being invested in these things for a long time.
Yeah, I think the key is trying to find, listen, the smaller the business, just like in a private business, the more important leadership becomes. And so one of the big things that I look for is leadership, and trying to find these entrepreneurs that are repeat winners, that have a history of success. They just happen to be doing it in a small, obscure public company. And, I think that's kind of the first thing you look for is that history of success from the leadership, just like you would with any small business. And then from there, you're looking for a business that actually, is growing, is profitable, that can survive, economic turmoil or, any type of recession. And you kind of combine those two things. And that's what you're looking for when you're trying to find more than just a flash in the pan success that can go up, maybe a couple 100% in 6 months. You're looking for find something like an IDR, like some of these other examples we can talk about that can go up for, a decade or more.
Well, we're out of time now. We're going to bring you back, though, because it's a fascinating area. A lot of money is being made there. And again, there's a lot of misconceptions about what true microcap investing is all about. Ian, thank you very much. It's great meeting you officially, finally.
Thank you. I really appreciate it.
Same here.